Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you're all in the best of your health. According to our today's lesson planner, we have part D, question number 1 to question number 4. So let's begin with our first question, which is what is an interjection? Explain and give an example. First of all, let me read the answer. An interjection is a word that expresses certain emotion or a feeling. So what is an interjection? It is actually a word that shows us, different feeling or different emotion or a particular feeling or a particular emotion. For example, oh, wow, ouch, and we have other interjections also. For example, if I will use it in a sentence, hurrah, we have won the match. So an interjection has been used in the beginning, and most of the interjection ends with an exclamation mark because it shows us a kind of exclamation or a kind of an emotion. All right. Now question number 2 is complete the following table. The first two have been done for you. Now we have some of the adverbs and adjectives given over here. We will write their comparative and their superlative degrees. So let's begin with the first one, that is quickly. Remember, we have different rules of writing their comparative and superlative degrees. So let us begin with the first one, that is quickly. Now there are some adverbs that ends with ly, and remember that all those adverbs that ends with ly, we will add more in their comparative and most in their superlative degrees, like slowly, more slowly, most slowly, quickly, more quickly, most quickly. The second one is hard. Remember, when we have one syllable adjective, hard is an adjective, and when we have one syllable adjective, we will simply use er in their comparative and est in their superlative degree, like big, bigger, biggest, hard, harder, hardest. The next one is early. Remember that all those adjectives that have two syllables and ends with y, we will always add er in their comparative and est in their superlative degree, like lucky, luckier, luckiest, early, earlier, earliest. The next one is fortunately, which can be used as an adverb or as an adjective. So remember, all those adverbs and adjectives that have more than three syllables, we will always use more and most in their comparative and superlative degrees, like difficult, beautiful, more difficult, most difficult, more beautiful, most beautiful. So we have fortunately here, fortunately, that have 4 different syllables, so we will change them into more fortunately will be its comparative degree, and most fortunately will be its superlative degree. And the next one is pleasant, which is an adjective, and remember, when we have 2 syllable adjectives, we will add more in their comparative degree, like more pleasant, and most in their superlative degree, like most pleasant. Okay, but there are some adjectives that have 2 syllables, like narrow, but we will change it into narrower and narrowest by adding simply er and est. So we can write it on, you do it in both ways. And the last one is little, which is an adjective. And remember that there are some adjectives that have irregular degrees, like bad, worse, worst. So this is one of those cases, like little has a comparative degree as littler or littlest. And it can also be written as little, less, least. So this was our comparative and superlative degree. Moving towards question number 3 now. So our question number 3 is, where in a sentence are adverbs usually placed? Explain and give an example. So our question is that where are we going to use adverbs, or where we usually use an adverb within a sentence? We are going to explain it using an example. So the answer is that adverbs are usually placed or usually used after the verb in a sentence. We will use adverb, or we mostly use adverb after a verb within a sentence. For example, he walked slowly. Slowly is an adverb and it has been used after a verb, which is walked. Okay, let me give you another example. She writes neatly. Neatly is an adverb and it has been used before write, which is a verb. All right, so add another line in the end that an adverb is used to describe a verb. That means an adverb is a kind of a word that describes or modifies a verb. All right. So moving towards our last part, which is what adverbs are formed from these words. Some of the adjectives are given over here. We will simply change these adjectives into adverbs. We know what are adjectives, a quality of something. We will change them into an adverbs, and we know what are adverbs. Adverbs are those words that tell us when, how, or where something has been done. So let's see how to change these given words. Polite, politely. Affectionate, affectionately. Lucky, luckily. So we will simply use ly in their end. That's it. So this was our today's lesson that was related to interjection and comparative superlative degrees and adverbs. So thank you so much for listening.